A while ago, I used to think that if I help people find their sense of support, their sense of ease, and their access to power without strain, that this is a good enough foundation for them to start moving through their personal narrative with psychotherapy, with other assistance. But what I found was talking wasn't enough. People needed some sort of body reference when they addressed their own personal narrative. So I started working with people around that, and I found that the framing of having a body that is universal, a body that is neutral, a body that is supportive, and contrast that to your personal narrative, you can start to reflect and observe yourself in your behaviors, in your thought patterns, in the way you perceive things. And so I started out with narrating out loud. And if you look down, I'll put the link for that specific video. I built upon that process by bringing in attribution, by bringing in the full body connection from the jaw down into your viscera. To do that, you really need to have a sense of that neutrality and support when you're standing, because it can be disruptive when you go deep into your storyline. And that's something that's surprised me a lot, the power and resistance and impact that this can have. I mean, I'm not completely surprised. I guess what I'm more surprised by is the speed at which you could touch in to these deeper places and how disorienting that can be to find a place of support, to find your own power. It can be really deeply disorienting if you don't have some way of framing that to yourself. Not necessarily to someone else, but saying that to yourself, because that's that inner talk that you may never express. And I've seen this in people, and that's why I started to work with people directly through their narrative, and not just in writing, but speaking, through creating sound, creating concepts and words, and making those associations in real time as things are happening to you. So the power of that is profound and way different from being one step removed from it. You're in it, you're immersed in the moment, you're able to express, feel, and do these simultaneously. So you don't have to go away and process and then come back, because really to process in the moment, to be able to speak to what's coming up takes practice. It takes practice having someone who can listen to you, someone who is listening and receiving what you're saying, and you do that in the therapeutic process. But if you don't have the body piece, that talk stays surface level. It doesn't get down to the depth of the way you talk to yourself. And that reveals itself as you work through the body. And let me give you some examples. I'm always constantly checking in. How do you feel now? What's the change? What are you noticing? So that you practice paying attention to subtle somatic signals, to internal experiences in your body, and be able to word it. And what I see is when people go to a deep level of change, they say, it's different, it's weird, I've never felt this before, I don't know how to describe it. And that's an amazing place, because that is a rich place for something new to happen. You're having a new experience that you haven't had before, or that you haven't had in a long time in your body, and you're trying to find the words to consciously put a frame around it. When you start to do that again and again, there's a feedback loop of positive changes. You're able to articulate it. You're able to acknowledge that it happened, and it's not just a passing thing that you had and then you'll never get back there again. It becomes clear. What are you doing differently to create these new present moment experiences? How can you articulate and share that? How can you retrieve it in your memory? How can you edify it in your body so that the other things don't crowd it out? And let me give you an example what the other things sound like. Yeah, I felt more grounded, but I still have that pain right here, and my hips still feel tight and I still feel unbalanced. Or Oh, yeah, I kind of got that. And I know I didn't do it right. And I'm not really sure what I'm doing. It's these sorts of qualifications on an experience that limit your capacity to fully savor it. When you have something that you've experienced in your body that is working well, I teach you how to really absorb it into your senses and into your felt memory experience, and to be able to get back there again. Because you can get back there again. If you feel a change that's pretty deep and profound and you don't know how you got there, it becomes this thing that just dissolves. If you can feel the path of getting there, you can understand how it fits into the logic of you being a human standing on earth, of you being the type of person you are now, of you recognizing your own patterns and habits and observing yourself real time as it happens, you can start to make changes. As long as you're not identifying yourself as that patterned experience, as what's happened in the past, that you can expand your present moment, and that present moment can be inclusive of the past and of your fears and expectations for the future. That your present moment isn't so narrow that it's dominated by the past or by your fears and expectations of the future, that you actually are a big umbrella over all of that. And within that, there's still space. There's still space for recovery, for something new to rise. And that's a whole process of going deeper into your body to use your body as a resource.